Hey, folks, welcome back to the Locacacast, the most timely JOJOLands podcast on YouTube. Definitely haven't had so many delays that the last episode almost didn't come out before the chapter, and definitely haven't had so many delays that I actually had to go to the second page of my Mangadex feed to pull up chapter 3 so I could review it for the podcast today. That would never happen.
And I definitely didn't have to go download the chapter from hiwamatanoboru.com right now because I actually only read it while sitting on the laptop at work on a break one day.
Oh, excellent.
JoJo hasn't taken a back seat in my life recently. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so let's blaze through our past 2 months, I guess, so we
I
can
suppose
talk
so.
about stuff that actually this podcast is actually about.
Mm-hmm.
So, over the past 2 months, like right after we recorded the last episode, I had to get on a plane to Oregon to go see some relatives, and that was pretty cool. That was part of the whole reason why it took so long for the episode to come out. Zach offered to edit, and I didn't know that like so much was going to come up that he, that I think it was like actually like I came back and I was like, "Yo, where's the episode?" And you were like, "I haven't started editing yet."
Yeah, when I offered to edit the episode, because Merc edits these, I record them, I send him the footage, he edits them. When I offered to record the episode, it was like, I did not know how things were going to go for me for the next month. And also,
And
I
like
didn't really prioritize it. That's on me.
that's basically
I let it sit
that's
on the
like
back burner for a while.
well, it's not really something that can be avoided. I mean, like these things will happen with like any podcast or any
Yeah.
form of content that requires more than one person. Like if I was doing this podcast on my own, I could like prioritize and like I would know my own schedule, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like but like then we wouldn't get like the same content of like just us like bouncing ideas off one another.
I've always said, and this is something that goes back to. So, dropping everything. I have always said, and this goes back to our run on JoJolian of the podcast. This is the rammiest and the shackliest. We are such a ramshackle operation. We are the little podcast that could. You know, our little thing that we have together just keeps on trucking somehow, defying all logic and all reason to surpass Calamity and continue to exist in this world. And, Calamity hit the podcast, but it survived and kept trucking. I thought I was going to fail in my mission to edit the episode and get it out because I had so much other shit going on, and it was all higher priority shit. I got a new job. I got a new job that is like, my life has such little direction career wise that I just might do this for the next 25 years. Like, this is my thing, maybe. So, starting the new job, doing all this shit. JoJo has taken a little bit of a back seat on the back burner. So, this is one of the first times that we are going to be reading the chapter where I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Like, I read this like 3 weeks ago and then haven't read it since. So this is going to be a weird combination of a chapter review and like a live reread. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Okay, so
It's
apart
perfectly
from
on
like
brand for the Locacacast.
apart from visiting relatives and podcast delay shenanigans, I had like 2 months of like new content to consume. So like I actually finally got around to watching Puss in Boots: The Last Wish,
Oh, dude,
which
I haven't
is
seen that
great.
yet. I really want to see that.
It's great. Great movie. Which you wouldn't expect from a Puss in Boots sequel.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
don't.
I was not excited for it before it came out, and then everybody was like, "Yo, that was so good, actually." Which I guess just proves like if you have a good product, it will spread through word of mouth. It advertises
It's like
itself.
it's. I would say it's the best movie that I've seen for the first time this year.
Ooh, damn.
Wait, hang on. No, because I also watched Then I watched Reservoir Dogs as well.
Oh
So
yeah, okay. Well, hey, as good as Puss in Boots is, I mean, it's no Reservoir Cats.
yeah, that's true. I also watched the Super Mario Bros. Movie,
Shit,
which
I
is
haven't
also
seen that
good.
either.
Yeah, no, that one's also great.
I'm the
Better
only
Call
thing.
Saul,
Oh, really?
Better Call Saul season 6 finally dropped on Netflix, so I finally got to finish that.
Oh my god. Okay, I want to talk with you about that instead. JoJo is canceled. Better Call Saul cast
This is
incoming
this is
now.
this is now the Saul cast.
Brown, 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 brown. All right, cool. I'm gonna go close my door. I realize my door is ajar.
Your door's ajar.
Hey, you know, one of these days, just to be funny, instead of the Locacacast opening song, we should just put the Better Call Saul opening riff over it.
They should just do that for this podcast.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Why not? Who cares? We're the ramshackliest. We're the fucking least professional podcast that's ever existed, but we remain existing.
I don't want to get into like too heavy spoilers because like
Yeah, I do, but I mean, it's not appropriate on this cast. I want to talk with you about it though, when we have time.
yeah, no. But I have like a couple more things a couple new media that I've been consuming. I saw the new Ant-Man movie,
Hmm.
and I also picked up a new podcast,
Oh.
Discovering SCP.
Ah, yes. Doing a little research for your own creative writing project, checking out the competition.
Well, actually it was like I realized like at no point in my life am I ever going to sit down and read the best SCPs curated and put in front of me. I'm not going to read them. I'm not going to read that shit if you put it in front of me. I'm just not going to. I refuse. I refuse to read.
The image of that guy, and he's holding up the book, and it says, "Whoa, you really expect me to read?" And then all the book says on it is, "All that shit by you."
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Boondocks thing. I was like, whoa, hang on there.
Yeah,
Are
no,
we
I
going
mean,
there?
I am also quoting a meme image that has bad words in it that I chose not to say when reciting the text
I
of the
see.
image. I made the smart choice.
Read, friend.
Read, my man.
No!
Read, my man.
Anyway, that was my content, basically my new content that I've been consuming.
Hell yeah. I am excited.
I don't really want to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I don't.
I mean,
It wasn't that good.
MCU's got problems, man. They got problems they gotta fix.
My like the bit that I was going to do was like I was going to like list off everything. I was going to be like, Puss in Boots: The Last Witch, it's great. Super Mario Bros. The movie, it's great. Better Call Saul season 6, it's great. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Discovering SCP, it's great.
Just don't even say anything about that one. Just skip it in the list. Yeah, well, man. So, can I do my little month recap real quick?
For sure, yeah.
So last time you heard Zach on the podcast, this was a man. Oh, stretch. Jesus Christ, big stretch. This was a man who had no job, I'm still pretty sure. I mean, I wasn't, I don't think I had started yet on the last podcast. So now I'm like an AV guy. I go around and I plug in cords into ports. I set up speaker
cool.
stands and I break them back down. Projector screens, all sorts of stuff like that. I work for a hotel and I like set stuff up for events. And I run cords along the ground and I tape them down. And then I rip them all back up and I wrap the cords real nice and I rip the tape up and I throw it away. So, you know, just set up and breakdown of AV equipment. And it's pretty good. The pay is nice. The hours are solid. I just got my first paycheck a little while ago and I was like, whoa, dude, this is way better than when I was working at Pizza Hut. Because, you know, Zach, over the course of the Locacacast, has gone from, like, Pizza Hut operative to manager to nobody to
And
AV guy.
you were telling me you know your schedule way in advance, which is great.
Yeah, it's way nicer. They make the next week's schedule in advance. Only complaint I have though is that I keep having to stay way past my scheduled out time, but that means I'm collecting some sick overtime.
Nice.
So yeah, the pay is good. The job's not that hard. It's something that I was interested in anyway, and there's you go and set stuff up, but then one of your crew is always like teching the event. So you're like sitting there in the corner running the mixing board. And so, that's like I always wanted to get better at audio shit anyway. So this is like a cool job and also is advancing some of these skills that I wanted to have in the background. And I also have a new girlfriend now. I'm no longer heartbroken about that other girl. Getting over someone is a three-step process. Very simple three-step process. Step 1, cry about it. Step 2, logical reasoning. Step 3, you get out there and you fuck somebody new. That's how it goes. So
that's how it be.
The time that it took me to finally get the previous podcast out was marked by, the delay was marked by financial insecurity and going to Texas and going camping. I went out with my friends and then I visited family in Texas, and also total heartbreak. So those were 3 delaying factors, but I went on those trips and came back from them. The new job is now up and running and going well, and the total heartbreak has ceased. So all 3 of those things having been satisfied, the previous episode has now come out, and the new episode is being recorded. So I had a few big fish to fry in my life, but now I've fried them, and now here we are.
Yeah, I was talking with Zach on our DMs, and I was like, "Hey, is it cool with you if I read our text logs just so I can get really just the whole big scale?" But now I would feel bad about throwing you under the bus that hard.
Could I read that? Because I feel like I
because
I got the episode out after all. I want to. I've reclaimed the ability to tell my own narrative on this one.
For sure. I copied and pasted it into a dot text. So let me
I scrolled back in the Discord. I've got it right here. Okay. March 19th. We record the Locacacast, Season 2, Episode 2. Zach offers to edit because I have to go out of town the following week. So that's March 19th. April 3rd. Merc. Yo, just checking in to ask how the Locacacast episode is coming along. Zach. Yo, sorry for the lack of communication on this subject. Lots been going on for me, but I shall do it. Give me a couple days and I'll have it done. April 8th. AKA a couple of days later. Merc. BT Dubs, have you gotten to do any editing on Locacacast Season 2, Episode 2? I said, working on it right now. Should be out tomorrow. Now that was a blatant fucking lie. I was not working on it. I was doing other shit, but I lied because I was like, oh, I can make this true. I can do this other shit, get home, do this.
That's why I put in the next, April 9th, the Locacacast is not out.
Okay, so April 8th, working on it right now, should be out tomorrow. That was a fucking lie. April 9th, the Locacacast is not out. April 12th, Merc says, reminder, the next JOJOLands chapter comes out in a week, so I hope you're done with the second episode and just forgot to upload it. Be a shame if someone were to talk mad shit about this on episode 3. And then at this point, Merc is threatening me. He's gonna put me on blast on our own fucking podcast, and I start typing in all caps. He says, be a shame if someone were to talk mad shit about this. And I said, it would be, wouldn't it? I got hours of work done on it the day we last spoke of it. The episode is done and edited, saved for the outro, which I shall make today. The episode will come out tonight. This has been your all caps update on the status of LCCCS2E2. Ah! The episode did not come out that night.
That's really the little bow on this whole situation. It's
yeah, because when it said April 9th, the Locacacast is not out, I was like, fuck. I told him yesterday I was working on it and that it would be out today. So I actually have at this point in the timeline started work on it, and I got the first hour of it done and edited, and I pretty much just needed to do the outro.
I didn't have in that little summary the day that it actually came out. Did you happen to?
Yes.
Do you happen to have our channel page up so that we can see when it actually did come out?
Yes, it actually was published on the 15th at like 2 p.m. So
Okay.
when you sent me all of this sort of collection of messages of us talking about it and me saying, no, just give me a minute, it's fine. And then you pasted them all in the chat and were like, can I read this on the 3rd episode? I cut out all the personal issues you were talking about in case you didn't want to talk about them. Didn't
And
want to
then
blow
you
up your whole
proceeded
personal
to
life.
talk about them.
Yeah, well, because that's part of the story. I mean, I can't just be like,
Okay, yeah.
oopsie daisies, I forgot. You know, I was going through stuff. I was having a new
Well,
job
like-
start. I was having girl troubles, but all those things are settled now.
my reasoning was like that should be like on you if you wanted to discuss that or not.
Oh, yeah. Which was nice of you. You allowed me to make the decision on airing my own dirty laundry. But when he sent me all of this, I immediately panicked. And I was like, this man is like writing a script with which to talk shit. So April 15th, he sends me all of this collated into one document. And I said, no, wait, it's done. It's actually done. I finished it before I went out yesterday. I came home to a failed render this morning, so all I have to do is re-render and upload. And then immediately once I sent that, he did not respond. He just added that to the document. He just added that to the text.
I forgot about that part.
You did. You did, man. It was so funny. And like, I got no response. I just saw you add it to the list, and I was like, no, that's the ultimate.
No. That's now I gotta do it now.
Yeah, so I said that. No, wait, no, it's done. It was a failed render. All I have to do is re-render it. I said that at 11 a.m. on the 15th, and then it came out at like 2 p.m. that day. So finally, oh, and then this is the punch. This is the final punchline.
The
I
lock
upload it.
materialized on your chest.
It did, dude. It was gonna kill me. The albatross on my back. This is the punchline of the whole thing, though. I finally upload it, and I tell Merc, yeah, I did it. Here you go. Look, it's up on the channel. Everything else in my life, just like everything else in my life, I don't do it to the last minute. My bad. And Merc said, well, there's one positive that came out of this. I'll never feel bad about my procrastination problem again. Hilarious. Incredible.
Good bit. That was a good bit.
Good bit. I like it. Anyways.
All right. Now that we've spent enough time dicking around, you want to get into the actual chapter?
Yes. I feel like the fuck around quota has been met. Let's get in there. Okay. So, first of all, sweet fucking title page. I love this title page.
Yeah, it looks like an old school album cover almost.
Yeah. It's got a like sort of a whatever the Beatles album is that has the 4 pictures of them, and also like Gorillaz Demon Days. I love the thing that's written on the side. They'll stop at nothing to achieve their goal. Every member of this team is a stand user. And also, Hot Dog Man is already looking a lot prettier. He's looking a lot less stupid in the face. Like Araki's drawing him more beautiful.
Yeah, no, he got a major glow up in this chapter.
Yeah, I want to talk about him. He's really cool. All right, 3rd chapter of the new series, JOJOLands. And also, like, I was talking to my friend Casey on Twitter, who we should definitely have as, like, a guest on the podcast someday. This is somebody that I met
For sure.
also loves JoJolian. Remember I made the video as Potion Seller, but JoJo's JoJolian opinions?
Yeah,
That idea was spawned from my Twitter DMs with Casey. We were talking about JoJolian and, like, the ending and being disappointed with it, and I was like, my JoJolian opinions would kill you instantly. They're too strong. And I was like, wait, that's Potion Seller. And we laughed, and I was like, I'm going to go make that video. So Casey's a friend of mine from Twitter, at Casey Aces. And they were saying to me, this is really exciting, the beginning of JoJoLands, because we have not had a real, like, JoJo team like this in a while. Like, think about it. The biggest the team ever got in Part 8 was 3 people. And then before that, it was just Johnny and Gyro. So, like, we haven't had, like, a real team, like a classic JoJo team, like a Part 3, a set of Crusaders. We haven't had a set of Crusaders since Part 6.
And, like, is this the first time that the team has been this big, like, right away?
Yeah, I mean, other than like arguably
I
part
guess part
3.
5.
Well, yeah, part 5. Part 3, you get to the point where it's Jotaro, Joseph, Avdol, and Kakyoin pretty quick, but that's not the first chapter. You know, like it takes a minute. And then part 5, it's also not the first chapter. Giorno does a bunch of stuff on his own first, but you
Yeah,
do
no,
get introduced to the
he does
whole
like the
group.
whole. Well, but he also does like the whole fucking Black Sabbath stand fight, and then
Is the whole thing with Koichi first, and then the Black Sabbath fight.
and then it's like here's 4 teammates.
Yeah. Well, he has Koichi fight, Bruno Bucciarati fight, Black Sabbath fight, and
Yeah,
then he
there's a
just
lot
kind of
that.
like gets dumped into this team, and we meet
You know
them
what the
all at once.
craziest? You know what the craziest thing is that like I still can't wrap my head around is like part 5 is like 1 week long.
Yeah, yeah. And that's crazy because, like, they don't really make a big deal out of that. But when you think about it, it's like, well, they're always on the move. Like, the mission is constantly changing, and they've got to keep moving and getting to the next place. There's not really any time where they could, like, stop and rest for a week and just hang out, you know? But it feels weird coming right after part 4, which is sort of like, you imagine in between each arc, the characters go to school for a week and just hang out and play video games.
I think it'd be really interesting if
No,
like we
wait, they
took this
don't.
one if
They don't go to
I think
school
it would
for a
be
week because it's the summer of 1999.
yeah. I think it'd be really interesting if like we took this one step further and like there was some sort of JoJo spin-off or something. Probably not an entire part, but like it was like a take on Rashomon or whatever, and it takes place in like one day. Hello?
Yeah, sorry. I was hitting my vape. I had nicotine in my mouth. I thought you were going to talk for longer, so I strategically. It wasn't strategic after all. Anyway, I don't know what Rashomon is.
Oh, Rashomon is like this. It's an Akira Kurosawa movie. Basically, the whole thing is like it's one story told from the point of view of like 4 or 5 people, but like they each like their viewpoints are contradicting.
Ah,
So like you just keep seeing the same events over and over and over again, but from a different perspective.
neat. This is a Kurosawa film?
Yeah,
I've never heard of this before.
it's a classic. I'm pretty sure it's inspired like a lot of stuff, but off the top of my head, I can't think of what it is because like there's because like his other film Seven Samurai, or one of his other films, Seven Samurai,
Yeah.
inspired the Magnificent Seven, which in turn inspired a bunch of other works.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, is
But
what's
Rashomon
the-
is also
what's
another.
the one that George Lucas ripped off for Star Wars? Hidden Fortress.
That was Hidden Fortress, I think. Yeah,
Is that Kurosawa?
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it was.
Hey, did you know George Lucas originally wanted the role of Obi-Wan to be played by Toshihiro Mifune? He wanted him to be an old samurai, like as a shout out to the inspirations.
I did not know that.
This
No.
is a new piece of information I just gleaned, which means that young Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, would have been like young Toshihiro Mifune. Like it would have been a young hot Asian guy. Crazy. Imagine
What
Star
could have been,
Wars.
huh?
Yeah, imagine Star Wars if Obi-Wan was Japanese instead of British. Space Japanese instead of space British, excuse me. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Next page.
We're on page 1 now.
We're on page 1 now. And this is fucking sick. This is awesome. Already, like, I love the pacing of the JOJOLands in that, chapter 1 ends, boom, here's your stand team. Chapter 2 ends, holy shit, it's fucking Rohan. Chapter 3 begins, and it's just this awesome, tense JoJo-y situation where Jodio is, like, sneaking around Rohan's house and everyone's inside, and he's, like, a second away from discovering them at any moment.
He is being incredibly brave here.
It's weird, because I thought
walking
these
around in the
kids
open.
would be, like, good at this, but it doesn't seem like they are at all. It seems like they suck at this, and that they're, like betting on the person not being a stand user. Like, they're really not prepared to have to fight a stand user at all. They're just thinking, like, oh, we're just going to use our powers to bully a normal person and get our way. No, not so. You don't realize whose fucking villa this is. Anyway, so I love that on the first thing, he's just immediately like walking right by the pool in full view of Rohan. If he chose to, you know, because he's doing the I don't know what stroke it is, but in pool, you know, in the pool, you do that, and then you go, like you turn your head left or right every other one in order to get a breath. So if he was wearing goggles, Jodio, you're fucked. I really enjoy the background art, though. You got the palm trees, you got the birds chirping. I like that we're in Hawaii. It's very cool. I've been once. We went to Hawaii for my mom's 40th birthday. It was cool.
Yeah, I was there. God, when was it? When was I there? Fuck. It would have had to have been like last winter maybe, or maybe.
Oh,
yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but I was there recently. Yeah.
Mine was almost 10 years ago. Mom's turning 50 this year. That was for her 40th birthday. That was a while ago, man. I had just moved away from Houston. We had just moved to California in the summer. My dad got a new job. And they were like, all right, well, now that we've gotten here and we've unpacked, time to pack and go to Hawaii. I was like, this is sick. Anyway, Jodio, both cautious and bold. And he's walking around and he immediately takes a little seat. He takes a little hidey spot behind this. And then I love these two panels of his hand coming out and like, where is it? Ah, there we go. It's just funny little visual comedy. That's something I've always liked about JoJoLands. Araki's really good with his panels and his paneling and like the feeling of timing as you read them. Because on this page you've got like big panel of Jodio. Swoosh, smaller panel, and you've got the speed line, so he sits down. Quick cut back to Rohan, quick cut to the tea set, hand reaching over the chair. Is it there? Is it there? Grab, swish! So is this guy the real deal? You know, like just the way that the panels lead your eyes. He's so good at it. JoJo is just pleasing to read and to look at and to page through.
Yeah, you can, it's very easy to like see, like, you can imagine how this will be animated, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, the parts of JoJo that I watched first as anime, I love them. But the parts of JoJo that I read first as manga, I don't really have the same love for the anime adaptation. Like, I love the manga more. And it's because the way that I imagined it being animated is almost never equivalent to how they actually animated it.
It doesn't live up to your expectations.
With a few exceptions. 7-page Muda, that's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. The fight with Jolene and Poochie, like the early fight between them where they're handcuffed together, that was animated fucking amazing. And they made it so dramatic. Like, they have a wide shot of them just standing there in the tall Florida grass, like, stanced up, ready to fight, but nobody's striking yet. And it was really cool. It was like a samurai duel under the moon. Like, they really elevated it in the anime.
I like how we now have, like, a mathematical formula to determine exactly how long in anime any extended stand rush is going to be. Because, like, you take... fucking the Steely Dan fight, right?
Yeah.
At the
Steely
end,
Dan beatdown was 3 pages.
At the end, there's a 3-page beatdown from Jotaro, right?
Yes.
You take that, you take the anime version of that, then you do the same with the Part 5 anime.
Yep.
And you can basically math out exactly how many seconds per page.
You just got to do a little bit of division.
For sand rushes specifically.
I wonder what the numbers are on that. Because the Steely Dan one was like 30 seconds long for 3 pages?
No, the 7-page Muda was 30 seconds long. The Steely Dan was one of those slightly shorter.
Hang on. I'm gonna count. 7-page Muda is, so from when the first punch flies to when the last punch hits. Oh man, you're right. The video's a minute long, and the first punch flies at 17 seconds, and the last punch flies at 47 seconds.
It's approximately 4.3 seconds per page of stand rush.
That's amazing. So, you know, if Araki ever decides to hit us with a crazy one again, we'll know in advance. Although, I wonder if, because now, you know, Part 7 was awesome in that it had non-traditional stands, and he made us wait, like 98 chapters to see a stand with arms and legs punch somebody and say, "Ora, ora." And it was really cool that he made us wait. And then JOJOLian, you know, we sort of had Soft and Wet was sort of an awesome, like, humanoid combat stand, but also had these abilities.
Soft and Wet was interesting because, like, the first time we see it do something, it's not punching, it's kicking.
Yeah. And I mean, Soft and Wet had, like, it was cool that he was using it pretty consistently as, like, not only the bubbles and whatever other abilities it has, but he would just use it to, like, buff his punches and kicks, which I really liked. It reminded me a lot of Jolene. She had that sort of, like, physical combat style melded with stand battles, which was great. Because, like, nobody was really throwing punches in the previous JoJo, you know, with their own hands. It was very rare.
That reaches the peak in the fucking Survivor arc.
Yeah. God, that's so cool. That's still one of the best. I mean, I liked how they did it in the anime, but I still, like, I wouldn't trade that for my experience of reading it in the manga for the first time.
Yeah, the anime for Stone Ocean got a lot, I don't want to say wrong, but, like, different.
Yeah. There were some changes and additions that I liked, like the Sports Max fight. Instead of just, like, following around Hermes and, like, letting her get into trouble and getting hurt and then intervening, they actually just walk up to Hermes immediately and are like, "What's going on?" And then it's like the three of them together, which makes more sense. But also, like, you've taken away something that's unique about it. Even if it didn't make sense, it's JoJo. Lots of stuff doesn't. I don't know. They do these little adaptational changes, and some of them I really like, and some of them I'm like, what are you doing? But hey, such is life. I still think the best fight in the Part 6 anime was the bit Jolene versus Pucci with the handcuffs on. That early
yeah,
battle with
no,
them.
that one was badass. Yeah,
It was fucking fantastic. And also, like, I'll be honest with you, I hadn't read Part 6 since maybe 2015 when I was working at the Renaissance and I was, like, blazing through all of JoJo. And
yeah, same.
the moment when Anasui is, like, dying on the floor with this huge chest wound, and, like, his blood is slowly trickling over to Foo Fighters, and he's like, "I don't care anymore. Just take my body. Like, I don't even want to live. And he looks at Jolene, and he's like, "Look at her. She's already completely fallen into despair. She thinks her father's disc is gone and it's all over. Like, I don't even care if I live through this. Foo Fighters, take over my body. It won't matter. I don't care anymore." And then FF heals him, but then, like, doesn't take over and use his body, just, like, allows herself to die. And then she has this moment with Jolene where Jolene's, like, sad she's dying. And she's like, "No, don't you understand? This means I lived. This means I was truly alive. I had a soul after all, and now I get to pass on." I fucking cried. That brought me to tears, dude. I forgot what an emotional scene that is. And Anasui is like, he hates Foo Fighters. He's been calling Foo Fighters plankton this whole time. And he's like, there are some things more important. Look at Jolene. She's fucking losing her mind. She's fallen into despair. I don't care what happens to me anymore. You just have to help her. And it's like, that's Anasui's true love for Jolene, misguided as it may be, weird as it is.
And that's like
that proves what kind of man he is.
That's like the primary thing that, like, the anime can improve on, is like it can make you feel things that, like, just reading off a page can't.
Because I remember that death was, like, extremely sad and emotionally moving in the manga, but, like, the music and the voice acting really emotionally elevated that moment for me. And it squeezed some tears out of me. I was like, this is so fucking sad.
The part 4 anime achieved what the part 4 manga could not.
Mm-hmm.
It made me cry over Shigechi.
That was fucking sad too. But I didn't read the manga first for that one. I watched it first in the anime. So I don't know if I can give you a good comparison on how they did it this way or that.
Yeah, no, I don't tend to emote as strongly over manga compared to anime.
Well, that's the power of, like, music, you know? Music and voice acting and really elevate the shit. As much as it's going to be awesome in your own imagination and you're, like, attached to that interpretation, when you hear the voice actors do it with the sad music in the background, it has something else that you just can't get from reading the manga. Oh, but I wanted to say something else about Araki's paneling. The program that I use, Honeyview, I was trying to read at work without this program, and it wouldn't let me do the proper double page spreads to where, because I read the manga where every page is like I'm opening the book, right? So I have the page on the left and the page on the right. I don't like reading it one page at a time, because Araki, in his mind, when he drew this, he assumed that he assumed that when you open the page, you're confronted with two at the same time, left page and right page. So this is part of the experience of reading the manga, is seeing them together. This is how it would be in the volume or in the magazine. So I like having this double page thing working. Here's how good his paneling is and how good his shit is. I was trying to read this at work on like an online reader, and the online reader wasn't getting my double pages right, but it did it, but the pages were wrong. It was like they were on the wrong side of each other. And so it was still the correct pages, but they were just flipped. So instead of reading the right one and then the left one, you had to read the left one and then the right one. And I was like, this is disgusting. My eyes are bleeding. Like, this is horrible. And it's because Araki's paneling is so good, and the way it draws your eye and moves it, that when that happens and it's fucked up and you're like doing it backwards, it just does not work at all. Like, it feels terrible to read, and it's because the way that he's planned out for your eyes to move is like all fucked up.
You can't drag your eyeballs across two pages. That's an unnatural motion when you're reading manga.
Yeah. And I like that he has this perfect set of motion lines of like, I know where my eyes are supposed to go. They zigzag down the page, and then they zoom up, and then they zigzag down again. And so, you know, I almost didn't even notice for a minute that the pages were wrong until I got to this thing with smooth operators, and I was like, wait a minute. The page of them getting the door open comes before the anticipation panel of them dragging the knob. So, you know, I had to figure that out. But now I'm at home, and I get to read it properly. Hell yeah. So Jodio is like, this guy's the real deal. He's swimming in front of me right now. And Big Dark Boy, he's such a weeb. He's like, I'm so nervous. Just being able to see artwork like this is enough to make my day. But that doesn't change the fact that he's a rich guy on a ritzy vacation who brought a $6 million diamond with him to a mansion. So he's like, he's fangirling, and then he's like, never mind, fuck him, he's the 1%. It's awesome. Based. Eternally based. And then we get Dragona doing another cool thing with smooth operators. Getting that door open. Dragona seems like easily the smartest and most capable one on the team. You know, like, Jodio's like a sociopath who can't resist stomping on cop faces. These other two are idiots who can't resist stealing way too much extra shit. Dragona's like the only cool, reliable one.
Dragona's like the Bucciarati of the squad.
Exactly fucking right. They seem like maybe their own main character, but we are very clearly focusing on Jodio as the main character. You know, part 5 was as much like Bucciarati's story as it was Giorno. It's the story of like this guy who is leading this group of misfits and trying to, like, you know, I don't know, because the backstory of all of the gang members is like, yeah, our lives were horrible and this guy lifted us up out of it. And so, you know, as they go on.
It's interesting that like you bring that up because like I came to a realization recently that like, do you know who the real protagonist of Part 4 is?
Um,
Koichi.
yeah, I was gonna say Koichi.
He's the one who goes through the hero's journey in the
Right.
part.
I mean, he starts as a little pussy ass bitch with an egg for a stand that does
We
nothing.
actually we see him become worthy of a stand. That's the whole reason why his stand evolves
Right.
over the course of the part.
And he goes from combed back hair to Dragon Ball Z to flat top to then I guess back to a little wild Dragon Ball Z in part 5. But you know, Josuke's hair doesn't change over the part. What does that tell you about his development? Didn't have any.
I think one of these episodes, when we have a little more time, we should like go into like which Joe Bros basically seem the most like they could be the protagonist instead of the JoJo of the part.
I gotta pick Gyro for number 1 on that then. Because I mean, he kind of was the protagonist at the beginning. Our JoJo was just like a sidekick.
True, true. I really need to reread part 7 at some point.
It's really fucking good. I have all of parts. I have all the parts I read in manga format saved in their entirety on my computer. Because like I watched part 1, 2, and 3, and part 4 was about to come out, so I didn't read it. I skipped straight to 5. So the only problem was I didn't know who Koichi was. But you know, parts 4, 5, and 6 are all just like different kinds of sequels to 3. They're not really sequels to each other per se. So, you know, I was able to skip to part 5 just fine. So I have all of those that I read in manga format first saved in their entirety on my computer. I got Vento Arreo, Stone Ocean, Steel Ball Run, JoJolian, and now the JoJoLands. So when I have one of those moments where I'm like, God, that story arc was so good, or oh, I want to see that panel again, I have it all downloaded. So I just go and I look up the chapter and I find the panel and I reread a little bit. And then I get way too into it and I reread the whole arc.
The funny thing is, I say I should reread part 7 at some point, knowing full well I never will. I will re-experience part 7 when they animate it in fucking 15 years or whatever.
Oh, man. I mean, I really hope... I don't know, man. The horses are gonna be CGI. Who cares? Just fuck it. Just kill me now. Just shoot me in the head. It doesn't matter.
You know what they should do? They should just have them use coconuts. Monty Python this shit.
Give it up, 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 give it up. Hilarious. Alright, so Dragona opens the door. I got the door open, we're going in. How are things looking by the pool? No issues, don't stand by the windows. Okay, let's go. And Hot Dog Man sees the cat and its butthole.
And you got this little anticipation shot of the cat, which will come back later in the chapter.
Interesting cat. I want to talk about the cat more because it seems like Rohan doesn't know the cat. He doesn't know why it's there. But then this next page after, okay, let's go. This next page is awesome. The shot of them walking into the mansion. And then Dragona being team leader. Don't steal anything else. Carrying anything else will just incur more risk at airport security when we leave the island. And then next, this is such a classic, funny ass JoJo moment.
Fucking Paco.
He's got a watch in his mouth. But also, like, why isn't he using his stand, the hustle, to pick up these things without having to use his hands? Okay, put all that back exactly where you found it. I don't care if it's caviar or cash or whatever. Oh, yeah, and then Hot Dog Man, the painting, he's like, he's regarding the fine art. And then he, and just cuts it open. Nothing behind this. So, like, the goal is not actually to make it look like they weren't robbed. The goal is just to fuck shit up and get this diamond and get out.
And then here we have a are you on page on like page 9 or whatever?
I just clicked next. The rock room?
Oh no, before that.
Okay.
Okay, so like on the same page where he's like looking behind the painting. Did you notice like this little shot of Paco looking sus as all hell?
Yeah, and then the shot of the money slipping into the pocket.
It kind of makes me think that like maybe his role is more than just the Abacchio stand-in that we thought he might be. And like this is a long shot prediction on my part. He might be
Don't say
what
it.
Araki was going to go for with Fugo originally.
Oh, okay, great. I thought you were about to say he might be the main villain. I was like, don't say it. Don't you dare.
No,
It's
no,
too
no, no,
early.
no way, no way, no way.
It's too goddamn
No.
early for this. Yeah, I mean, if this is like Araki finally has the balls to do the traitor plot line now, that would be sick. But it seems like I'm not even taking it that way. It just seems like as good of a team leader as Dragona is, Paco is in fact a reckless asshole who is going to get them in trouble at airport security.
Oh, okay. So you're thinking like incompetence rather than malice.
Yeah, I think so. Or not necessarily incompetence, but he hears what Dragona is saying, but just doesn't believe it to be important advice. He's like, whatever, I'm stealing shit I want anyway. But it's weird, like,
Okay.
he was introduced as a guy who steals stuff without moving his hands, and here he is, not even trying to do that. Or I guess, I mean, that would be better for, like, if you're stealthily doing it in front of other people. I guess it doesn't really matter. I just thought I'd get to see him use his cool stand. Alright, next page, what the fuck is the rock room?
Have you seen the fucking meme that's like welcome to JoJo, we got part 1 rock, part 2 rock, part 3 rock, part 4 rock,
No?
all the way up to part 9 rock?
I haven't
no?
seen that. No, that's
God
hilarious.
damn, hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I didn't save it. I should have saved it. Hold on. Here we go. I got it. Hang on, just a second. Fuck, it doesn't have the part 9 rock. Shit. Here it is, part 9 rock. Okay, I got it. Hang on, let me send this to you in the DMs real quick.
Okay, here we go. Okay, let me open up this image. Let me make it so people can see it. This is fucking great. Hang on, I'm opening this. I'm opening the image in a new tab. I'm gonna make sure everyone can see it.
I absolutely fucking love that, like, we're part 3 rock. It's the funny rock.
Okay, let's see this. I'm gonna zoom in a little. Welcome to JoJo. We have part 1 rock, part 2 rock, part 3 rock, part 4 rock, part 5 rock, part 6 rock, part 7 rock, part 8 rock, and part 9 rock. Wow. I never thought about this. I have never noticed this. I guess he really does like rocks. I mean, also, they're all different. Part 1, he's like, I can even lift this rock. Part 2, Caesar's been crushed to death. Part 3 is the funny imaginary rock for the sun
funny
fight.
rock, yeah.
Part 4 is Angelo. Part 5 is Sleeping Slaves. Part 6 is Stone Free. Part 7, the rocks that he eats, the gastroliths, if you remember that's what they're called. Dinosaurs do that to break up the food in their stomach.
Yeah.
They eat little rocks, they're gastroliths. And then we've got Yotsuyu Yagiyama? That's who that is? Ring the bell!
Ding, 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 ding,
Ring
ding,
that
ding,
bell!
ding,
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 ding, ding,
ding,
ding,
ding,
ding,
ding,
ding,
ding,
ding. Oh, I thought we would never get to ring that bell again. Man. Yotsuyu Yagiyama. Someone get up on that ladder and change the sign back to 0. And then part 9, Rob.
Oh man, speaking of Better Call Saul, am I right? I've been actually rewatching Breaking Bad for like the 3rd time lately. So, also the ding 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 ding. Hector.
Yes. Sorry. For a moment, I wasn't sure. I thought you were saying the getting up on a ladder and changing the sign. And I was like, wait, how is that Better Call Saul? I mean, maybe the billboard, but that doesn't make sense.
He does change the billboard though.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know how that computed. I forgot that you meant just the dinging of the bell. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me take this meme away and give us back the chapter.
Part 9, the lava rocks.
What do you fucking think about the rocks in here? obviously it's scary because we just had a whole part that was like about rock humans.
I think it's very strange when you walk into a room and like there's a bunch of a particular object that you wouldn't expect to find in a room. Just in general. I think that's off-putting.
Yeah, especially not even like stored properly, just all over the floor. Like, what's he doing in here? Is he investigating lava rocks? Well, I mean, he has to be. That's the only explanation. But why?
Well, like this is
For what purpose?
this is well, like this is 100% in line with like Rohan's character in the original universe.
Right.
It's like, you remember he like stabs the spider and tastes it.
I was just gonna bring that up. And Rohan is always talking about like a mangaka can't subsist on ideas alone. He needs inspiration. He needs to interface with the outside world, try new things, and discover weird shit. That's why he licked the spider. And so what I'm asking you is, are you considering this any amount of like rock human adjacent, or supposed to be hearkening to something more? Or is this just not a Rocky? I was going to say a Rocky instead of Rohan. Is this just Rohan being weird and doing more spider licking stuff? Like, is he just obsessed with volcanic rocks for a manga?
I mean, it's hard to tell, like, cause like this could be just like something meant to like put you like to put you off, basically, as like just to creep you out. But like you know, it's too soon to tell whether it has anything to do with the rock humans. I would say no at this point. Probably not.
But they're just shaped so funny. And we just had a whole part about how rocks which are shaped funny are inherently evil and dangerous.
Well, I like how like when they later in the chapter they pull the diamond out of the safe and there's also a rock in there.
Yeah. It's weird. Okay, next page. There are volcanoes. There's pictures on the iPad of volcanoes and a map and cooled lava. What's so fascinating about cooled lava that he's taking these close-ups? I went on a camping trip and I ate some mushrooms. I was tripping on mushrooms, and so was my friend Jasmine. And we were all sitting around the fire, and Jasmine, I could tell, was like becoming uncomfortable. Like the mushrooms weren't hitting her right. And she was just kind of like sitting there staring at the fire. And so I sat down next to her and I was like, dude, what if Spider-Man fought Jesus Christ of Nazareth? Who would win? Because Spider-Man has to web onto stuff, but if Jesus just walks out in the middle of the ocean, then there's nothing for Spider-Man to web onto. So we had this stupid conversation for 20 minutes, and then she was like, because we're both just shrooming, right? We're both like out of our minds. And she's like, hey, the fire is so warm. I just want to like be inside of it. I just want to walk inside of it. And I was like, I know what you mean, because I want to eat lava. And I know I can't, but it just looks so good. And then we have like this 20-minute conversation about how we really want to eat lava. And I was like, dude, when the lava cools on the outside and it has like that, the immediately when it cools and it darkens and it has this like skin that is like moving over the gooey part, that would taste just like burnt marshmallow. You know, when you've got like the carbon on the outside of the marshmallow when it starts on fire and then you blow it out. And we just had this long conversation about wanting to eat lava. And we realized halfway through, like, everyone else is looking at us funny because we're the two, funny people on mushrooms at the campfire. But I'm like, oh, so they're looking at us funny? Excellent. Let's just keep going. Let's make it weirder. And I'm like, yeah, I want to fuck lava, actually. It's great. It was fantastic. So I think Rohan, when he says, what's so fascinating about lava? I think Rohan is a lava eater. I think he's like me and Jasmine. I think he wants to eat lava.
Do you think Rohan would stick his dick in a lava rock?
I think he would stick his dick in an active lava flow and just burn it off.
Jesus.
But he's like, he's remaining celibate. Like, he's stopping himself from fulfilling his inner desires. Anyway, that was part of my last month since the last podcast. I went on this trip and I ate mushrooms and I talked for a really long time about wanting to eat lava. And we agree it would be like gooey, like slightly melted candy. Anyway, that's enough about that.
It would also burn your lower jaw off.
Yeah, no, it would kill you, but I mean, it was funny. Jasmine was like, I just want to be in the fire. And I was like, I know what you mean. And I got up and I took a step towards the fire. And I was like, because this, now that I'm closer to the fire, it feels like 50% better than where I was sitting. And I take another step and I'm like, now this is even better. This is so nice and warm. And I look at Jasmine and she's like scared because we're both on mushrooms and I'm being silly. And I'm like, so logically, if I were to be inside of the fire, it would be 100% better. I don't know. We were saying silly shit and it was fantastic. Another sick Breaking Bad reference on this page, though.
Oh, where he says that's a flask?
Yeah. And Hot Dog Man says, a flask is a tool you use for heating things up or cooling them down. A beaker is something you use for measuring amounts and mixing stuff together. That's exactly what Walter says to Jesse in the season 1 episode. He's like, no, you don't cook in there. That's a beaker. You cook in a round bottom flask like this. A flask is for heating things up. A beaker is for mixing. So, yeah. Definitely Araki has seen Breaking Bad at this point and is cribbing all sorts of elements from it.
Araki has seen Breaking Bad, confirmed.
Confirmed. When are we going to get a Saul Goodman type character? When is Jodio going to get arrested and he needs to get like a stand user lawyer?
His fucking lawyer.
Look at my lawyer, dog. I'm going to jail.
No. His lawyer's going to come in and he's going to think he's a public masturbator.
Yeah, dude! If he recycles a third joke from Breaking Bad, that'd be insane. So, it's a crazy number of photos of lava and volcanoes and stuff. Da-da-da-da-da. He's interested in all sorts of things. Is he purifying drugs in these beakers? Wonder if they're the illegal sort of drugs. Yeah, I wonder. What's with this Japanese guy coming to other people's countries to do this? That's a flask. Yeah, it's a beaker, not a flask.
I like how on this page, Jodio draws the conclusion that because Rohan has pictures of dogs, that's probably not his cat. It's like you couldn't have both.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little rare, but of course you could. Also, I like the panel where Paco is like, well, thanks for the pointless lava lesson. Go find the damn safe.
I mean, and I say that as an owner of both a dog and a cat, so.
Ah, yes. My family, we used to have a dog. We switched to cats, and we've been team cats for a while now. But I don't know if you know about this, but the dog in that picture is in fact Bakin, the dog that he gets in the I forget what chapter it is, but it's in Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan, where he gets this little dog to keep him company. And it actually persists for more than just the chapter it's introduced in. It's also in Hot Summer Martha, which is like the COVID Rohan story.
Wow, so like...
He has a little dog named Bakin, and apparently so does this Rohan.
This is just main universe Rohan just dropped into the Steel Ball Run universe.
Yeah, I don't know how he got here. His life played out exactly the same. Also, I just want to shit on Aeon Star real quick. I watched Aeon Star read this chapter on Twitch, and he calls the dog Bacon. Because it's Bakin, but the dog's name is Bakin. It's not Bacon.
I like the idea that like everything else can change, but like there is always a Valentine and there is always a Rohan Kishibe, and he is always the same.
Wait, I wonder what happened to Valentine in the Jonathan Joestar timeline. Like, did he just become president and serve out his 4-year term and then die like a normal person? Like, what happened to him there?
He disappeared under mysterious circumstances.
Oh my god, wait. Yeah, of course he did, because he's one of the Valentines that SBR Valentine brought to his timeline to die for him. That's why there's no Valentine in the Jonathan Joestar timeline. I solved it.
So we have these two singularities, basically.
Yeah.
That are just multiversal constants in JoJo. Valentine and Rohan.
I love it. So, I just want to say also, only one of these drawings of Bakin, the dog, is from the Rohan manga, the one where he's like super little. So the rest of these are meant to imply that he's had the dog for a lot longer now, and the dog's all grown up. I love that.
I guess that would check out because like when would that have been the Spoke Kishibe Rohan?
I actually don't know now that I'm saying it because the dog is still small in the COVID chapter in Hot Summer Martha, so I'm not sure.
Oh,
Maybe he got
okay.
the dog earlier in this universe. I don't know. One way or the other, does he have a pet dog? I wonder if he gave it to his editor or somebody. I like how he confirms that like Rohan totally gave it to his editor and he didn't just leave the dog there alone.
He's making a lot of deductions that like in this chapter that it doesn't seem like he has enough information to conclude.
Chris, I don't know if you've noticed, that's kind of how JoJo works. Like, characters will guess correct information and then just operate under the assumption that they're right, almost as if they're also reading the manga sometimes. He does a better job at it sometimes than other times, but that's always been a thing about JoJo. Characters will just correctly guess information and then operate under the assumption that it's fact.
And ironically enough, the one character whose ability this is never guesses correctly.
Incredible. So good. Okay, here we go. Next page. The cat again. The cat is back, and it's a weird-looking fucking cat.
There's something really sinister about this cat. That,
the
like
ears
the way it
are
looks.
So sharp, and the tail is way too long for how big the cat is.
That is an evil cat for sure.
Evil fucking cat. If that's the case, then whose cat has been wandering around? And then, boom, sick-ass panel of Rohan getting up out of the pool. Love the way this is drawn. Although, I actually, if I may, I kind of hate Jodio's hairstyle. I actually don't like it at all, and I hate looking at it.
Oh?
Yeah, it's stupid looking, and I don't like the line that he does in the middle of it. You know what I mean? The zigzag line that he puts. I'm not a fan.
You're talking about the horizontal zigzag.
Yes.
Not the
vertical shading lines.
Not the shading line.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm talking about the ziggy zaggy. It just gives it way too much of this like stupid eggshell look, and it honestly reminds me of Chod from Battle Network. Did you ever play Mega Man Battle Network?
No.
Well, he looks like this. He fucking looks like this to me.
I feel like we've had this conversation before. In fact, I believe you've posted the picture you're about to post.
I might have. Shit.
Oh, no, not this picture exactly, but...
Same guy?
Yeah, no, Yeah, same guy. We've definitely had this conversation before.
Man, see, we gotta do these closer together. Otherwise, I forget which things I said and didn't say. But for real, he's got this weird eggshell thing going on. And he just looks like Chod from fucking Battle Network. I don't know. Honestly, like, hashtag not my JoJo. Dragona is my main character. Fuck you, Jodio. I haven't seen your birthmark, therefore, I can't even be sure you're a real JoJo. Same goes for you, Johnny. You're on thin fucking ice.
Wait, do we never actually see Johnny's birthmark?
Never. I think he's the only character since the birthmark has been introduced that we never saw it. Besides Josuke, but they gave us that for the anime. Like, we see Jotaro's, we see Josuke's in the anime, but not in the manga. We see Giorno's, we see Jolene's, and we see Josuke's. Johnny is wearing his fucking sweater the entire part, and we never see it. But, you know,
maybe
it's
they'll
really
give it to us in the anime.
Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe he'll be shirtless for a brief moment. Alright, so Rohan is out of the pool, and it's fucking panic time. Hello? Can you hear me? Looks like we've got an emergency situation.
I can hear you.
The owner just got out of the pool. I get the feeling that, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to check what's going on inside the house. He's heading inside. Get out of there now. And then this is like the coolest moment in any heist where it's like, we're out of time and we have to leave empty-handed, but we're not willing to do that. So Rohan doesn't even realize he's being robbed. He's just like, huh, weird cat. Better investigate.
Yeah, that fucking cat is gonna ruin everything.
Dude, but he doesn't even know who the cat belongs to.
That seems like the cat's like stated mission in this chapter.
Yeah. Also,
it's like, I will fuck up this heist.
Also, like, it's weird because they were like, no matter how many people we brought, it wouldn't have been enough. Like, oh shit, there's going to be a really powerful stand user. No, it's actually not even going to be Rohan that fights them. It's just going to be a cat.
It's this fucking cat.
Fucking cat. So he doesn't even know where it came from. And then they're doing all this frantic radio chatter like, you gotta leave, we can just try again a different day. We're gonna end up with some intense heat chasing on our tail all around the island of Hawaii. So, like, Jodio is actually kind of smart in this moment. He's like, okay, right now, this shit is Metal Gear Solid, but it's about to turn into Grand Theft Auto, and we do not want that.
We're about to have that 5-star notoriety.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you're gonna cop an instant 3-star wanted level, and it's only gonna go up from there. Anyway, so he goes inside, and then also this little panel right at the bottom where they find the safe, right as they're supposed to leave, where he says, hey, you hear us? We found the safe. The panel right next to that, I actually love Jodio having flipped up the hood. I think that's very cool. He's got the hood flipped up, and that's the first time he's done it this part, and I like that a lot. Like, he's in incognito mode now that he's flipped up the hood. So
he's doing the Agent 47.
Yeah. So they found the safe. We come this far. We don't say we gotta leave now. And Dragona is like, looks back. All right, fuck it. Watch the hallway. He doesn't know we're here. I'll get this open. Smooth operators. And Jodio's like, oh shit, you're gonna keep going. Although weirdly, his hood is back down now. It's already back down in the next time he draws him.
I actually tend to doubt it was actually up, because like this doesn't look like his hood is up to me in this panel.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought it was. I thought it was cool. I want him to flip that hood up at some point. All right. So Rohan is coming out of the pool. He's going inside, and then it starts raining. And it's crazy, because the rain is like hitting his book and his iPad, but it's just acting like normal rain. But then just one of them hits his finger, and it's not the bullet rain that we've seen before. It's actually like a cactus needle has fallen and stabbed his hand because water's dripping off of the cactus. So can Jodio, like, first of all, he can definitely control how hard the raindrops hit. That's confirmed at this point. But can he, like, also move objects around with the raindrops?
Well, I don't know about that, but like I like how he notices that Rohan has basically noticed that there's cactus spines in the rain, and draws the conclusion that he can somehow see stands.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know how that computes. I don't see how 2 + 2 adds up to 4 there, but this is so sick. I love these panels. The cat went inside. Rohan's like, what the fuck is happening? Back to smooth operators. Again, like, already the pacing of this is so awesome. Like, we're cutting back and forth, and there's tension, and we don't know what's gonna happen next. It's fucking great. And Dragona,
some great quick fire characterization for Dragona here.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy for my kids. She calls them her kids. That's adorable. Oh, also, do you remember when we were talking about the symbol on top of the smooth operators' heads? Where it's like, what is that? It looks like 06 or 05 or something. It's supposed to be SO, smooth operator.
Oh, SO.
Yeah.
Hang on.
We may have to go back a chapter. There's not really a clear shot of them this time, I don't think.
There's no good shot in this chapter?
All right,
I'll check that after.
So. Yeah.
I'll take your word for it now and just check it on my own after the podcast.
Yeah. Well, I just did a quick little paging through, and there's not a great shot, but you know, if you were to go back to previous chapters, you could find it. But yeah, it's supposed to be SO for smooth operators. I remember we were thinking, like, why do they all say the same number? Are they supposed to be like Sex Pistols? No. They all have like a logo. It's pretty heavy for my kids. She calls them her kids. It's adorable. There's a cat. It's walking towards us down the hallway. And then these silent panels of the cat. This is really well drawn, too.
This is the most ominously anyone has ever drawn a cat.
Yeah. And then the cat just slowly... I love how the anticipation of, like, the cat and then bigger, and then the shot of the paw, and the shot of the ear, and the shot of them looking at it, and you go to the next page, and it's just walking away. Like, it's like, that's like manga page turn humor, you know, where they build up anticipation and then just release it with nothing happening on the next page. Like, that's a specific, like, you could do that in the anime with like, oh, nothing happened. You know, you could do that with music and direction, but the feeling of turning the page and going from the last panel you read on the last page to the first panel on the next page, there's something about that that cannot be replicated by anime. Cat wandering around. The safe is open. Fuck yeah, we've got the diamond. Let's verify if it's real. What was that? Is that another chunk of cooled lava? Why is it in the safe?
There's the lava rock just chilling in the safe.
Hey, so here's my theory. I think there's something special about that chunk of cooled lava which is in the safe. And I think Rohan has come to Hawaii and has all these other rocks trying to find another one that has the same properties. I think the safe rock has something special about it, and he's here to find more. And it's possible that he hasn't found it yet. Like, it's all failed attempts in that other room.
Maybe the safe rock is part of a rock human.
Maybe. But all I know for sure is that there's something special about the chunk of cooled lava in the safe compared to the rest of them. I feel like he's been looking for something, and he hasn't yet found it in those other pieces. And he's doing experiments on them to try and find out if any of them have the properties of this one. It could be a piece of rock human, but also, don't they just become normal rocks once they die? I don't know.
Yeah, when I read this chapter the first time, like I didn't register that there was anything special about that one in the safe. Like I just thought it was like, you know, just randomly placed rock in a safe. But like now that I see it's got like its own dedicated tray inside the safe.
Yeah. I feel like he brought that one with him to like compare and contrast it to other lava rocks for whatever reason. I don't know why, I don't know what the significance is, but that is my guess. He brought that one with him to compare and contrast it to the other lava rocks that he could find in Hawaii and try and find a match or similar rocks for some reason. Don't know why. But that's my bet. So we put it in the backpack. Perfect. Okay, everybody vamoose, which I think is a very funny translation. That reminds me of in Final Fantasy VII when Cloud says, "All right, let's mosey." That's like in the 11th hour of the game. You're about to go fight Sephiroth, and Cloud chooses the goofiest fucking words. All right, let's mosey.
Let's move on down.
He's on down the road. All right, next fucking page. I'm kind of skipping through these a little bit because I got maybe like 20, 30 more minutes I can spend on this, and then I got to go get ready for work and dip out of here because I got a life now, and JoJo's on the back burner for me, and I'm not unemployed anymore, and I can't spend all day doing the podcast. This reminds me of something, but not stone-free, but I don't know what. Hasn't there been another thing like this in JoJo? Haven't we been attacked by string before? No, actually it is stone-free. It's stone-free that I'm remembering because I'm thinking of the bit in the Survivor fight where she wraps the string around him and makes him punch himself.
Beach Boy.
Oh, yeah! Chris, you're a genius, man. I knew there was another living string somewhere. You're a genius. So yeah, we get these cool panels of the string wrapping itself and then tying itself and then tightening. And immediately, Paco is damaged. His ankle is spurting blood. We've finally gotten our first injury for one of our protagonists in the part. And, you know, I love it when somebody gets hurt in JoJo because I always get hurt so disgustingly bad, and then they always just walk it off.
Here's a genuine prediction I'd like to log. In the next couple of pages, they're gonna probably correctly deduce that the cat is the stand user.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to predict that the name of this stand is Cat Scratch Fever.
Yeah, you were saying that in the DMs. If it's named anything other than Cat Scratch Fever, we fucking riot. And I mean, like, it's never been used before. Now would be the perfect time to use that as a stand name.
Is Araki secretly a John Mulaney fan?
Wait, what? Oh, what's new, Pussycat?
Oh, wait, shit, right, yeah. Oh, fuck, I forgot. Damn.
I'm the
How
John
embarrassing.
Mulaney fan out of the two of us. How dare you?
How embarrassing. I'm going to cut this out.
What's new, pussycat? People went fucking insane. I love that bit. It's one of my favorite bits of all time.
Well, if it's not called Cat Scratch Fever and it's instead called What's New Pussycat, well, no.
I mean, that's just as good. I'd be happy with either of those. Anyway, the string is tightening. Next page. You can't get it off. And then, does it transfer from Dragona to him, or now they're just two? Because she, like, reaches for it, and then it wraps around her.
There are two.
Yeah, no, there's just multiple.
You can see in the following panel
Yeah.
that it's still wrapped around Paco's leg.
So this is what I want to talk about. Dragona, as smart as she is like, huh? What's going on? Where did it come from? And Paco is like, fuck, I could use some help here. I don't know what I'm doing. The only one, the string goes for his foot. And he moves it. He jumps. He goes, huh! And he jumps. And he's like, the string, it's translucent. It's floating. It's like fishing wire. So he jumps. He feels it coming for his shoe. And he immediately does a little hop. And then on the next page, on the last 2 pages of the thing, Paco is like, damn, I don't know what's happening. This won't come off. And Dragona's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And then Hot Dog Man is like the only one who's on the ball. He's like, hey, it's got to be the cat that did this. The cat set up the string when it went down the hallway. Where'd it go? Paco's like, the cat? Dragona's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What did the cat set up? And he says, come on, have you two not figured it out yet? There ain't no security system that works like this. That's a stand, and it's attacking us. That cat was targeting us this whole time. You get what I'm saying here, right? Like, he's the only one who fucking gets it. You thought Hot Dog Man would be this goofy character? What?
You're kind of roboting out there for a bit.
Oh.
You're coming in and out.
That's okay. The people heard me. I was just reading his dialogue in an exasperated voice. But you know what all the words were because they were on the page.
Also, side note, I completely forgot to hit record on my Audacity, so I sure hope I'm fine.
Oh, that's fine. I got you, man. You haven't roboted out once this whole time. Your connection's been great, and the audio levels are already, like, pre-balanced in my recording. Anyways.
Cool.
You thought Hot Dog Man would be some goober who would drag the team down. Like, he's not either of our 2 main JoJos or Paco, who seemed to be like, oh yeah, he'll help us steal stuff. He's a decent operative. We know him, even if he's a little mischievous. So we thought, you know, like, oh yeah, Paco, Dragona, and Jodio. Yeah, those are the 3. But no, Paco's actually useless and sucks.
He's being the real fucking MVP.
Hot Dog Man is the real MVP. Usagi Aloha Oe. He's the only one who's like, what are you guys, fucking stupid? Have you never read JoJo? You don't know what happens in this manga? It's amazing. I love it.
Here's the hood up moment you were looking for on the next page.
Yes, exactly. I actually, when I was talking about it earlier, I knew he did it at some point, but I had forgotten about this final panel, so I was like, oh, I guess I was just wrong. But yeah, there we go, hood up. But I just want to say, like, Hot Dog Man went from total goober who doesn't even belong on the team to this guy's fucking indispensable. He's so good. We need him. He's the only one smart enough, quick-witted to understand what's going on. And it's funny because, like, you know, we've had JoJo for 30 plus years now, and we're at a point where, like, we've done this so many times, you know, our protagonist's like, huh? What? Huh? What's happening? I don't... That at a certain point, you have to just start making them go, oh shit, it's stand. And that's what he's doing here. You know, we're sort of skipping the formalities, and we're just having him go, what are you guys, stupid? You know, don't know what happens in JoJo? It's a fucking stand.
It's an enemy stand.
Indeed. And then Rohan literally just, like, got up out of the pool and walked around confusedly for 30 seconds. That's all he did this chapter. Something is happening. First, there's that stray cat that went inside the house. Stray cat. I mean, we've already had one of those. It can't be called that. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, the rain suddenly showed up out of nowhere. It's only in the table and the iPad. The rain was aimed, and then there's the cactus spines. And this is such an awesome chapter ending moment. Can you hear me? We're in trouble. He's someone who can see them. This man is no easy foe.
How do you know that, though, Jodio?
I mean, again, characters will just guess correct information and operate off of the assumption that it's true.
He's read the next chapter. We haven't.
He's seen the script. But then again, I'm complaining about this guessing thing, but that's what Usagi just did there. That's what Hot Dog Man just did, and it was fucking awesome. It was like my favorite panel in the whole chapter. Is him being like, "Have you guys not figured it out yet?"
To be fair, he saw them get attacked by strings. Then he saw a string reaching for him, and he dodged, and then he drew a conclusion based on observations. Jodio is pulling this knowledge out of his ass, I believe.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, I thought that November Rain had to be physically standing above the spot that the rain came down. But I guess Chapter 2 already disproved that, didn't it? It would have been really funny if Jodio deployed his stand, like, all right, I'm going to rain and distract him. And he just deploys it, and Rohan immediately just looks up at it, like, okay. That would have been great.
Rohan just spawns an exclamation point above his head.
And the alert music sounds. Yeah, so this shit went from Metal Gear Solid to threatening to become GTA pretty fast. But then it just went right back into stand battle versus a cat. But I kind of would like to see our characters, like, on the run from the law, hot on their tail, you know, speeding down the highway, cop car chase. Because if we're going to be criminals, that would be awesome. And I don't know if we've ever had a car chase in JoJo. I mean, we've had Mista fighting on top of the bus in Part 5. We had Dio in the limousine with Wilson Fisk in Part 3. That was kind of a car chase, but not two cars chasing each other.
I wonder what the fuck Rohan is actually going to do to stand a chance in this stand battle. I mean, I would have to guess, like, you know, that was the whole point of Jodio reading the manga earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably like he can now just activate the ability whenever, which would be an interesting twist on his classic ability.
That would be wild. If the fact that, like, his manga has already hit Jodio's eyes is like, I've already rendered you able to be read. You know, he can just snap his fingers and the book opens anytime. He doesn't even have to launch Pink Dark Boy. That would be sick. But I gotta say, like, I don't even really think Rohan has to do much to stand a chance. Because think about the stands that he's up against. He's up against November Rain, which is maybe dangerous. Maybe the one that you should really worry about. But other than that, like, he can totally take the Mate Kudasai, the Hustle, and Smooth Operators. He could definitely take them.
Well, the hustle is just Paco.
Yeah, I mean, he's just sort of like a guy who moves funny. But I don't really think either of those three are going to be like a huge threat to Rohan. Like Smooth Operators might be.
They're not really like I feel like we're like for this first part we're just going to have like the two stand battles going on. It's going to be fucking Usagi Aloha Oi versus the fucking cat and Jodio versus Rohan.
I honestly really want to see a 4-versus-2 battle with Rohan teams up with the cat and fights against Paco, Dragona, Hot Dog Man, and Jodio. Because he's like, oh, these are intruders in my house. I don't know whose cat this is, but it's helping me attack them and get rid of them. He could write something in the cat to make its ability behave differently.
Oh, wait, hang on. I just realized Usagi needs somebody else to fight with him.
Yeah, because he can't activate the Mate Kudasai on his own. But, like, you know, he could say, like, so he could have somebody say, like, I want Rohan's heart. And the Mate Kudasai would just walk over there and start digging into his chest. Does that work? Like, I don't know what the limits of this ability are.
No, it doesn't destroy the thing or whatever. It just makes a identical, well, slightly off duplicate.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just remembered you have to ask for it. I kind of forgot. It doesn't like bring it to you. It just makes a dupe. I don't know. I've only seen it used once.
Man, how the fuck is that battle gonna go down?
I don't know.
because we have two very weird stands. We have the fucking Mate Kudasai and Cat Scratch Fever, hopefully. And I don't understand how they're going to interact, actually.
I have no clue. I mean, maybe, because, regardless of what your stand does, if it has arms, it can throw a punch. Maybe the Mate Kudasai can, just, kick the cat in the face, because it's like a little chicken-looking thing, Maybe it can peck the eyes out. Maybe it has the battle power of, an angry chicken, which isn't going to be good for most things, but could fight a cat.
Okay, well, is there anything else in this chapter that we can talk about? Because this feels like our shortest episode ever. I'll be real.
I mean, we could just stop recording right now and have a new world record for fastest Locacacast. I don't know, man. We got any predictions? How did you like the chapter? I really liked it.
We've been doing predictions, basically.
You have any closing thoughts?
I like this chapter more than the previous two chapters, because this chapter, it finally feels like something is actually happening in the story.
I mean, it feels like we are now out of the setup segment, and we are now into the story proper. Like, this is the inciting incident, I would imagine. Much like at the beginning of every part, there's a fight that sort of determines the direction of the narrative. For instance, Giorno versus Bucciarati. Fucking, I don't know. But the early fights are sort of they can sort of give you an indication of the direction that things are trying to go in this part. And if that's true again for this, then I am very excited about the direction. I like the tone that he's going for. The sort of the frantic team heist and oh shit, he's getting up and coming inside. Guys, leave. We can come back another day. But then right at that moment, they find the diamond. It's good. It's tense. It's exciting. I'm really into this. I gotta say, I think this is my favorite chapter of JoJoLands.
I think it'll be really interesting to see what exactly Jodio meant when he said it wouldn't have mattered how many people we brought.
Right.
Because right now I'm not seeing Rohan and this cat. They are a threat, but I'm not seeing them as a
it's not going to be a team
Avengers
wipe.
level threat.
Yeah. That's actually my favorite moment in any JoJo part, where we almost get a full team wipe. The bit, they actually took this out for the Part 5 anime. The bit where they're fighting Prosciutto and Beach Boy, and Prosciutto is already dead at this point, and Beach Boy is fighting them alone. It's the bit at the very end where he goes into Mr. President, into Coco Jumbo. And also at work, we have this thing when we're running music for an event, we have these little iPods. We literally are working off of iPhone 5s still, which is crazy. But, they were cheap, and they don't have a cellular connection, so you don't got to pay for them every month. They're just hardware. So you bring the iPod down, and you plug it into the mixing board, and you do a little converter so you can get from the aux jack to XLR. And they have an app called Soundtrack, which is an app that they pay for. And the whole thing is that, it's got all these fucking songs, million, billion, kajillion songs, and they're arranged into these playlists, which is supposed to be for different moods. There's sports bar, wedding after party, there's all these, and we didn't make them. These came with the app. And you pick a playlist, but here's the kicker. The way that they've had their music licensing deals work for this app, you can't pick which song. Your only option is to shuffle the playlist. And so I was looking, and it was finally my job to set up the music, and I got to decide what playlist. And I was looking through the music, and there was this one that was called bar classics, classic hits from the last 50 years. Well, not 50. Yeah, no, 50, since the 70s. And there was on there Coco Jambo by Mr. President. And I was like, whoa, I've never heard that song. I knew it was a musical reference, but this is a musical reference that I've never sought out the corresponding song for. but I was not able to listen to it because it was on the soundtrack app. My only option was to shuffle. Like, the way that they have all of these pieces of music, and it's so affordable, is that they've struck a deal which disallows you from selecting a specific song.
What a very strange way to do that.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's not like you couldn't just, like, wait around for the song to come up.
Right. And here's the thing. I wanted to start the playlist on Bill Withers' Lovely Day, because people were just about to come out of the event, and it was sort of a motivational thing. So I was like, oh yeah, Lovely Day will be playing when they come out. But then I realized you actually can't select a song. So I just kept hitting shuffle, 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 until eventually it came up first. But it didn't. There's like hundreds of songs per playlist. So I could stand there and shuffle it all day and never get what I wanted. So like, you really are at the mercy of the randomness.
The John Mulaney Russian Roulette playlist.
You really
fucking
are
put on 5 What's New Pussycats and 1
It's Not Unusual.
November Rain. What was it?
It's Not Unusual.
It's Not Unusual. Oh, okay.
Tom Jones.
Yeah.
I just realized a cat pooped on my floor. I'm gonna have to clean that up in a minute. Bummer.
Damn.
Dude, I'm under attack by a cat right now as well. His stand ability is to shit and piss everywhere.
Okay, well, it's not exactly a climactic ending to the podcast, I guess.
No, but it's the ending that we have. I have to go fight my own stand battle against my own fucking cat right now. Because his abilities are just too strong.
We'll see you guys in probably a week, actually.
Man,
Fuck these delays.
Well, also, like, I'm not really too upset about it, because now, like, we're recording it and the episode will come out and the new chapter will be so close. Like, I don't even have to wait a whole month. I've only got to wait like a week and a half. It's fucking sick. But it was not sick, said Chris.
It was not. It's
it's the opposite.
Like I said, these are going to happen. These delays are going to happen.
They are. It's part of life.
This is the podcast you clicked onto, viewers.
This is your fault.
You can't complain about it now. It's too late. It's too late. You already signed the contract.
Oh man, bro. Do you think that Rohan could just, like, you know, when he signs the contract, do you think he can, like, Heaven's Door and make it say, like, by the way, also you have to, like, I don't know. Do you think Rohan can alter documents in such a way that makes them legally binding? You know, is it magic? Like how when he writes something in someone's face, it magically has to occur? Or actually, no, this is exactly what you were saying. Where, like, what if he can manipulate objects, too? What if he can write in things? All right, we should have ended the podcast a minute ago before I said all that.
This is so awkward. It's so awkward. We never know when to end episodes.
Here's how you end an episode.